is Robert Deveaux. In English, I answer to Robert. And my artistic medium, well, I'm a Cape Breton musician. I live in Cape Breton, but I'm also an Acadian, and you would say folklorist. My artistic medium is something that you might consider more like an intangible cultural heritage kind of a thing.
What is it that, is there a person or is there a moment where you felt like this is the thing that I wanted to do?
I mean, my whole life, I kept meeting people who shared interests with musically.
Yeah.
Be it in Cape Breton music or in the Acadian stuff. I was in Joliette, Quebec for the Festival de Mémoire et Racines, which is a huge French traditional folk music festival in Joliette. And that's where I had a bit of a moment. In Quebec, they use the word hallucinant, which means I found it hallucinating, but we don't use that here, word. But that's how it felt. It was really trippy to be part of such a big scene. At first, they have a fiddle camp, so there was a fiddle camp that went on, and they did their recital, and then we were the first group that went on. So it was 7 p.m. on Friday night. It's still light outside. You can still see out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're on a stage and you've got big lights and you can't see past the front row. But I can see everybody in the crowd, and what really was touching for me was to see all of these heads in the crowd singing along with the words to these songs that there's no other way they would have known them was to have our album.
Right.
So that was a moment for me that was, I think I could get used to doing this. There was a guy that I grew up across the street from that had hundreds of songs, and his father before him, Helen Creighton, had come and gathered some material from them before. There's all this material that's kind of been sleeping in the archives all these years. So I'm the guy that kind of comes and dusts it off and kind of hands it around to people. Hey, maybe you might enjoy this song. If you don't, that's fine. I have a few more. And eventually you find one or two that people hang on to. And then the next thing you know, they're being recorded.
We talked about your passion for your culture. Would you say that that's the driving force behind your work?
Yeah, I'd say. But first and foremost, it's the fun that you have when you're doing it.
Okay.
Because, it's jovial. So if you talk about how this song, music, culture started, it was in people's kitchens.
Yeah.
Maybe with an open case of beer or a bottle of rum getting passed around, or around a wedding, or even around a funeral, but some kind of an occasion where people say, okay, we're going to have a laugh now, sing the funniest song, and people or sometimes it's not about something funny. Sometimes, but it's the camaraderie that happens. That's the real reason why I enjoy doing it. But at the same time, you can take that, package it, and put it on a stage.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, that's what you got to do to broadcast that stuff. There's always been this stewardship in a way, and sometimes it's small ways. But if you're a little child and you're a musician and you notice that this little child enjoys the songs, well, you take the little child by the hand and you teach him a few lyrics, and as the child grows, oh, you play piano. Would you like to come jam? And all of a sudden, hey, I have a gig for you.
What does this award mean to you?
I'm really flattered. I mean, I was aware that I was going to be nominated. I never expected that I would ever get it. I'm flattered because it's my home turf.
Yeah.
This is where I've lived most of my life. I've lived in Nova Scotia all my life except for 8 months. So even when I wasn't here, I was in Halifax or other places. So I've lived in Nova Scotia for a long time.
We talked about what the award means to you. I just want to say thank you for enlightening me. I learned some new things about this culture that you're a part of. And as someone who's a visitor to this land, I appreciate receiving that information and seeing the fuller depth that this community and this province has to offer. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say just to kind of wrap us up?
We got a kitty cameo. I love it.